because points are actually very, very fragile and they break off very easily. And things tend to revert to the sphere. For example, like a very rough stone that's in water and it's moved around and buffeted around and it turns into a very small pebble. And that's why on a very large scale you tend to only see spheres and spirals, but on a very, very minute scale, when you go down to microscopic level, you see all these beautiful stellations and things. But how often do you see a triangle on our scale of existence and our level of being? Not very often. So how come we know what a triangle is and we use it intuitively in various ways symbolically without actually seeing it around us? And this is where the mind is so insignificant, and the common access to archetypes that we seem to have and the use of those across all the different cultures in the same way. And I try to tell, I focus on the basic shapes because they are really fundamentally the most important ones, and they allow these constructs of reality to exist, so that it allows the idea of time to exist, for us to exist within time, and for us to actually communicate about time, to represent the idea of time, for example in clock faces, and to work with circles and recognising what they do in our community and in a sacred way. And that's why, for example, we used to move in circles around something in the centre, like a fire or an elder, intuitively with the beat of a drum or something like that, because we were sharing that moment in time and heightening that experience. And it's why we use it in our vocabulary. For example, I'm just focusing on the circle here: work circles, social circles, knitting circles. When we're with a group of people, for example, the dynamic of the circle is here, even though we're not actually sitting in a circle, because we're sharing a particular event in time, and from different points of view, which is what the triangle's all about, and triangulation. Squares are a fixed energy, and we know that as well, because where circles rotate and move around and can go anywhere that they want to, squares fix things into a particular square box. We wouldn't put our shoes into a rectangular box, for example. And squares are all to do with being here. Now, so people understand the idea of the moment, and the past is gone, and the future is something that we imagine as well, and there's only this ever-presence in an infinitesimally small point of time. But there's also only one here, because if I'm standing here now, and I look over there, that there is an illusion created by light. Because as I move around, I carry my gateway to the heavens, I carry this model with me that allows me to think and exist and perceive the constructs of space and time, and to perceive a reality around me and the ideas that are there. But if I go over there, sorry, I'm moving camera, I'm actually still here. I can never get actually there, because I carry here as I move along. And it's very difficult for people to understand that we're all sharing the same here, but we're all doing so from different points of view, and that's where the triangle comes into the equation. The triangle is about the eyes, the three eyes, a window onto reality and how we perceive things. And the middle of the triangle is just pure I am. And that perception of sentience is quite significant, because to be sentient means you perceive yourself in reality relative to other things. So anything with eyes has that ability. And very often you'll see symbolically an eye within a triangle representing the soul. Talk here, but there you go. So the circle, square and triangle, those three things construct space, time and the perception of what it is to be. The middle of them is here, now, I am, or I am here now. So they fundamentally allow something that is incredibly potent and powerful. Without them, you wouldn't be able to think that, you wouldn't be able to be it, you wouldn't be able to communicate it, and you wouldn't be able to represent it. And that's the three main ones. I also touch on the spiral, which is the life force, and the cross, which is essentially X, and X marks the spot. It reminds you to get into your centre, to get to the centre, to really inhabit, to be consciously inhabit your I am here now. And the spiral is what takes you there. It's the spiral path. It's the life force that binds all of us and which animates us as well, because the other concepts are very static. So that is essentially it in a nutshell.